Hello everyone and welcome to episode 18 of this ECW revival series here on the channel. As this episode is going to be quite the episode here. So this is the first time I've been recording since the Plane Ride from Hell episode aired from Dark Side of the Ring. Now, really, that episode of Dark Side of the Ring, usually somebody comes out of there, it's like, alright, he wasn't so great, after watching an episode, and you're just kind of like, wow, that guy really was a piece of shit, or whatever. With the Plane Ride from Hell, really, I think me going in, it's like, well, I know that, Flair's, assault on the flight attendants was, recorded and was charged, and then he just, settled out of court about that. So that was kind of like the big thing. It was like, well, that's what a lot of people are going to be talking about, but I kind of knew that going into it, so it's kind of like not a surprise. But really the biggest thing was Tommy Dreamer being a real piece of shit in supporting the behavior of Ric Flair, which is a big no-no. And then also Brock Lesnar flashing Terry Runnels in 2003, I want to say. So this was kind of around the time of the Plane Ride from Hell, but not actually, obviously during the Plane Ride from Hell. But he, almost, fucking crashed the plane. Him and Kurt Angle did know that going into it as well. And that, he had some Vicodin and he was mixing that with alcohol as well. Not a great combination at all. And really, those two men, obviously, a part of this series, a big part in Brock Lesnar, but even Tommy Dreamer has played a part in this series. I've said, kind of in the comments and just kind of like, this all the past two episodes were filmed before Dark Side of the Ring's episode aired, so I didn't have like a chance to really do anything about that. But really, what I've come to the conclusion that I'm not going to use Tommy Dreamer for sure, definitely not. And Brock Lesnar, so it's an interesting dilemma here because obviously I want to stay, the mod. It was in 2014, so it wasn't before the Plane Ride from Hell, it wasn't before Flashing incident or anything like that. But I feel like, Brock, with that crime, to me it's the punishment has to fit the crime. And that crime, in the eyes of the law, depending on how severe it is, which to me seemed like Terry Runnels, the biggest complaint for her was that it was blatantly disrespectful, obviously, to someone who's been a part of the business for so long, and why would somebody do that? Obviously, being a young kid, you try to think like, well, it was just, you could see that thinking wasn't involved. You could see that there was not a really, obviously something kind of, I'm sure that wasn't something he planned ahead of time type of deal. He probably just saw her walking in and he just did it there. Not a great thing to do, obviously. Not a great thing to do at all. Especially something like that. Something so kind of humiliating to the victim, but also very stripping of the power to in a way, and that's something that just, it's like, wow, you blatantly have no respect for this person if you're doing that. And I think it's kind of crazy when you look at kind of, I didn't know off the top of my head, it's like, well, how long would somebody get like jail time or anything like that? It depending on how severe obviously it is, or depending on how the victim feels and how hard they're kind of pushing for it and type of thing, it could be up to a month, which seems like kind of small in a way. I don't know, it seems like that's a little too small of a time. Maybe that's just me. And then it could be a fine up to $250. So really the punishment isn't severe, but I feel like this is a great time to bring light to this during the series and to even do some maybe drastic things depending on who you are. So that's kind of where we're at on the guidelines of this. Usually, when something like this happens, I try to just kind of determine what was happening at the time of the mod. So the Plane Ride from Hell definitely happened, and everybody definitely knew about it during this time, and even the flashing incident for Brock Lesnar. Terry Runnels brought that up during a Pressing Torch interview. That was around the same time she got released. I want to say 2005-ish. Maybe a little before then. She talked about it then. Nothing happened. She talked about it when Speaking Out happened. Nothing happened. Finally, she got her justice, I think, in her light of just like, hey, this happened. people should probably take this a little seriously type of thing when during the Dark Side of the Ring episode. So, just kind of, just clarifying that usually under most circumstances, because the way I just kind of dictate things, this is just me personally. You could kind of do it however you want, but me personally, if it happened around, like, either before or the mod happened, then obviously it's going to play into effect of how I'm going to see and view people that I'm booking. But if it happens after the mod takes place, same, like, for instance, if I was to book, let's say, 1987, I wouldn't have, I wouldn't consider what Hogan says years later into account. Sure, did that suck? Absolutely. What, he says during the audio taping incident when he went on a racial tirade. Definitely not great. Definitely not something that you love to hear and you love to see from someone. But, when at least if I was to take into consideration what I'm doing with him as far as in like 1987, 1988, WWF, like WrestleMania 3, WrestleMania 4, WrestleMania 5, and around that time, that I would not play that into a factor because, well, it didn't happen yet. That's not something that's common knowledge at that point. So, yeah, that's just a me personally thing. You could kind of do however you want to do, I mean, there's people out there that book, like, speaking out people in current day mods. And it's like, that's fucking crazy. Can't believe people are doing that, but people do that. It's just kind of what people, whatever floats your boat type of thing. But, I just kind of felt like this needed a nice little pre-introduction before we get into the actual show, which let's just get right into as the pre-show. First, the two pre-show matches. Pretty good pre-show match, actually. It's Christopher Daniels and Colt Cabana, as Daniels gets the win with the Angels Wings in 12:36. This could definitely be on a TV taping, that is for sure. Definitely could be on a SiberSlam. As the next match, probably should have kicked off the two pre-show matches, but that's okay. Lucha Brothers versus Rich Swann and Ricochet. The Lucha Brothers actually got the win there. I just kind of left it up to the game's decision, and Phoenix pinning Rich Swann there with the Meteora. Yeah, Phoenix with 31-29 for Pentagon Jr., 47 for Ricochet, 34 for Rich Swann. Definitely the wrong team won there. And, I just remembered I didn't even do a SiberSlam intro. We're just kicking off with a Paul Heyman in-ring, State of the Union address here, as we have Paul Heyman just saying that a lot has happened over the past couple of days, and he announces that during the flight back from California, Brock Lesnar was mixing alcohol, Vicodin, and eventually harassed and even flashed fellow members on the plane, and even attempted to bring the plane down from pulling the emergency exit door. And because of these actions, he's been stripped of the ECW heavyweight title, and there will be a crowning of the next champion will take place at the next event. And for Brock Lesnar's actions, this isn't 1998 anymore. This isn't the boys will be boys anymore. There are consequences to your actions. Nobody is guarded. Nobody is untouchable anymore. You have consequences for your actions. Brock Lesnar is going to pay that price. He's not going to get paid. He's going to be suspended, stripped of his championship. There will not be any more Brock Lesnar, and Tommy Dreamer. Chalk that up for being boys will be boys. People are sensitive nowadays. Fuck that shit. Okay, this is the land of the extreme, but this is not the time for that. Tommy Dreamer will also be gone. He's going to be suspended not only for 30 days, for 60 days, and maybe we might just let him go after the contract ends. Who knows? After he pays his suspension, he might be gone forever, depending on if he feels like he's learned from his mistakes and his actions of his words. And Heyman just goes on a tirade on Dreamer. Here's a guy that worked for this company for free, who did everything he could for this company. Sold t-shirts, set up the ring, even helped book the show. Severely disappointed in Tommy Dreamer's words. Severely disappointed in Tommy Dreamer's actions. But also, Melissa Anderson for last week, for what she did for Stevie Richards, she's going to be suspended. She wouldn't be gone for 30 days without pay as well. You're not going to put your hands on the officials. You're not going to put your hands on the backstage interviewer. You're not going to put your hands on the staff. That's not going to happen. That's not going to fly here. So just Paul Heyman, big State of the Union address. Brock Lesnar stripped his heavyweight title. It's going to be a tournament. And the first 2 tournament matchups are happening on this SummerSlam. Tommy Dreamer suspended. Melissa Anderson suspended because of her actions with Stevie Richards. A lot is happening. There is a changing of the guard happening on this goddamn show. And that is just a huge State of the Union address for Paul Heyman, which that got in '84. We didn't even do a SummerSlam intro. Just felt like, let's just go right into this Paul Heyman fucking scene. It's going to go like 10 minutes, I think, was how long I set the segment for. Yeah. I mean, Paul Heyman's going to go on the tirade. If you thought him firing Sabu in the ring was a tirade, I'm assuming this would even top that as far as that goes. So the first of the 2 tournament matchups, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. Drew McIntyre beats Bobby Lashley, the Future Shock. Huge. Both guys got visibly tired towards the end, which is a little scary, but that's alright. Still got a 61. That's a huge match for Drew McIntyre to win. Big moment there. It's Rob Van Dam kind of working out and then stops. And he says, it's about time I showed everyone why I'm the whole effing show. This is my time now. I brought the brand back in 2006. And I was the champion then. I'm still in the prime of my career, Rob says. It's just like, wait, what the hell? Rob's like in his 40s. What do you mean he's in the prime of his career? That's what he's thinking. He's going to show the world that he is the whole effing show still. He hasn't lost a step. And he's going to be the new ECW Heavyweight Champion. Just with that kind of promo. And he says, Bubba, I'm about to smoke your ass type of deal. But he's going to go through Tommy End first. And he beats Tommy End here with the Van Daminator, beating the network champion. Also bringing up, during the promo, how Tommy End thinks he's the network champion. I was the television champion. I was the greatest television champion this company's ever had. I'm going to prove that to Tommy End with this match here. And he proves it with a Van Daminator in 10:04. That's a big win from Van Dam, obviously. Big opportunity for Tommy End, too. This would be a fun match. I think especially like 2014 where Rob could still pretty kind of go still. This would be a very fun match to see because I feel like him and Tommy could have some great stuff. But that's a fun match though, not in the grand scheme of things. So we have Paige coming out with a promo. And just says, who's left? Who's left in this women's division for me to face? I've taken on every name there is. Taken on every girl in the back. And yet, time after time, I've had zero challenge. There is zero competition for me. So I'll just issue an open challenge. I don't care if it's Mickie James. I don't care if it's Beth Phoenix. Hell, Melissa Anderson. If you didn't get suspended, you could have came out here and got your ass beat yet again. It could be Karma. It could be anybody from the back who thinks they have a chance to beat me. So why don't you come on out here and let's have a women's title match. I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling like I can defend this championship no problem here at the ECW arena. So come on out here. And that person who comes out here, it's AJ Lee. And AJ Lee beats Paige with a Shining Wizard in upsets. Paige here, which is kind of crazy. Obviously, at the start of this mod, this would have been when Paige got called up and beat AJ Lee in kind of like an open challenge scenario for the championship. I believe it was still a Divas Championship at that time. So just kind of crazy, and now we get to flip the script a little bit. And now we have AJ, the one, accepting this open challenge. The WWE AJ Lee coming into ECW and beating Paige and becoming the new women's champion with a Shining Wizard to end out the show. It was a 49. Definitely the wrong thing that went on last, but still a pretty fun moment nonetheless. Man, I mean, that was a great show up until the women's match. But, we had some great promos from Paul and Rob Van Dam. We had some pretty good matches from Van Dam and Tommy End and Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Some good stuff there. We increased our pop everywhere. Good stuff. Not bad at all. As that is the first two matches of the tournament. There'll be two more on the next show. And then we'll have the 2 semifinals to end out the next the third show and the fourth show. So just that's kind of where we're looking at SummerSlam. So we're pretty much going to run the entire tournament up until the finals, which will be at the final show. I believe the next show is I want to say it's Hardcore Heaven. I want to say off the top of my head. Because I'm trying to think. Maybe it's yeah, it is Hardcore Heaven. I was right. Okay, just want to make sure it was Hardcore Heaven. So yeah, that's just kind of where we're at. We're gonna crown our new champion at Hardcore Heaven. You just saw AJ Lee upsetting Paige out of nowhere in an open challenge. At SummerSlam, I think that was just a great SummerSlam to do that. And just a lot of changing happening. Just made the most sense to me. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the show. And we'll catch you guys next time for more ECW action. Take care, everyone.